Us.
Hello, hello, Aldwyn, Altuney here. Welcome to Media Queen TV. We have the beautiful Cathy Skiperdene with us today, who's the International Women's Day Festival Coordinator. She has been involved with the International Women's Day Festival now for 20 years on the Gold Coast, for about the same amount of time that I've been involved with it in one form or another. In the early days doing photography and media work, and nowadays doing photography and media work and interviews. And it's just been a fantastic ride with this festival. It's been such an extraordinary event every single year. And this year, it's taken a bit of a different twist. So we're going to have a chat with Cathy about what is happening for this year's festival. Welcome, Cathy.
Hi, well, thank you.
Great to have you here with us, Cathy. I know you're such a hard worker and there's so much goes into this festival every single year. So can you let us know what is happening this year? You have a special event on tomorrow. So can you explain what's going on this year for the festival?
Okay, tomorrow we've got our very first ever online event, which, oh my gosh, has been, I think we've managed to, with the help of some amazing people, put it together in, oh, it'd have to be less than 4 weeks. So
Wow.
it's been a scary ride. But it looks amazing, and I'm sure the schools and the students will really love it. We've got some amazing speakers. We've got 2 panels. So it's absolutely so different this year. I'm sort of scared because I'm not running around thinking I've got to be at the event in the morning, set up and everything. It's all like virtual. I'm not used to that.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Well, that's right. It's so different having a physical event as to an online event, isn't it? And there's just different kind of logistics to get everyone on board and make sure they've got the right links, make sure the technology is working, all those kind of things. So it is still a
Yeah.
lot to organise online. However, you're not running around putting balloons around the place, checking on
No.
catering.
Although I'm just so used to doing that it's like, well, I don't know which is worse.
Well, we'll soon find out.
No.
We'll know. We'll know by tomorrow.
No, I
We'll know
shouldn't
by
say
tomorrow.
that. No, it's been an amazing experience. So I really believe that in actually being able to do this now, although I would have loved to have had a live event, just the way things are at the moment. I believe that we from this will be able to then do workshops and things like that virtually. And because see a lot of students that we will be doing the mentoring program with this year, a lot of them are so tied up with their sports, with their training, with study and everything else. It's very difficult to actually get them in a room, on one day or and that sort of thing. So, it's going to give us the ability to be able to, change a few of the things of what we do into, managing, so then they all benefit from the experiences of our mentoring program.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you do have hundreds of schools literally involved in this, don't you? So, how many schools have you got this year, and where are they coming from? What sort of schools have we got?
Okay, so I haven't got my list, but I do know most of them.
Okay, that's all right.
um,
I'll just
well, because it's been an online event, we've had a few schools that would normally be at our breakfast, not able to attend because with the new school test systems, they're actually doing a whole heap of tests and exams at the moment. So a lot of them weren't able to actually even view the event tomorrow. So quite a few schools weren't able to be part of it this year. So which is a real shame because we like to recognise most of the schools that we normally have on board, but situations the way they are, it wasn't possible. But we've got schools like quite a few Brisbane schools. We've got some new schools. We've got Marsden State High. We've got Cavendish Road. We have Ormo Woods. Let me think. Trinity Lutheran College, Palm Beach Currumbin High School. We have Mullumbimby State High. We have Brisbane State High. AB Patterson. Oh, I'm sorry about this, but I am pretty brain dead at the moment. I've had a massive.
That's all right. You usually have a good mix all the way from northern New South Wales up to Brisbane, which is extraordinary.
Yes.
And I know that the youth absolutely love it every year. They're always inspired at these events. You have some phenomenal mentors for the mentoring forum, of course, that you do, and the Youth Leadership Awards. All the recipients are phenomenal. So many people recognised for their amazing work. And what are some of the different categories that you recognise the youth in with these awards?
Okay, so this year we decided to make quite a few changes. So we decided to actually not so much recognise them for academics, and I believe the reason for that is that it's more about what they've the girls have done over the the past 12 months with helping other students, getting themselves through COVID and studying at home and just helping each other and stepping up. So a lot the categories this year are more, in the school community is one. Recognition of leadership in the school community. We have leadership in sports, performing arts. We've added some new ones like inclusion, which is a very important category we've found for this year. Inclusion and environmental preservation we have added into our categories, and a few others.
Great. Silas Johnson here is saying creative leadership is the one. She's saying creative leadership. Very good, Silas. And we've got Dena here, of course, who helped you with last year's event. Dena was very actively running around last year. Hello, Dena. Good to see you. Looking beautiful, Cathy, she says. And she says, I'm so pleased that the Youth Awards have gone online, Dena says as well. Thank you, Dena, for your comments, and Silas. Creative leadership. I love that inclusion. I think that's a really good one, particularly with, with the COVID and with all the dramas around, Black Lives Matter and different opinions around vaccinations and all the different, dramas that have been happening over the last year. I think inclusion is a really great one because regardless of different opinions, we are one human race, really. We are human beings, right, on the planet. We may have different colors and different cultures, and but we are all human beings on the planet. And in the overall scheme of things, inclusion is really, really important. So how did you come up with that?
I think a lot has been spoken about inclusion recently, and I've always wanted to look at including, being that I have quite a big association with disability, and but not even so much that. I think inclusion really covers bullying and that side of it as well. So the Inclusion Award is not necessarily about a student that has a disability or anything is helping themselves in that regard. It's about other people that are supporting and sticking up for these students, that may be, say, disadvantaged. Or so the inclusion word is quite covers a vast array of categories, really, because it's not just about, okay, someone that's disabled or someone that's this or whatever color. It's a lot of things. And so when we've received a lot of the nominations for inclusion, which was quite big this year, it's it's been amazing. Like the caliber of the girls that are coming through as our future leaders. Wow. I'm not afraid of what of them looking after us when we're old.
Yes, yes, they really, it's like they've fast-tracked education now, the next
Oh,
generation. You know, they say in the next 3 years there's going to be more information coming out than we've had in all of history. I heard that stat the other day and it blew me
wow.
away. And I mean, it
That's
is amazing. I
scary.
mean, if you think about once upon a time we had Encyclopedia Britannicas, right? Where we'd get
Oh,
our information.
absolutely.
And now
That
on
was
the
our
internet,
research.
that was our research. And now so many people are putting information online, sharing information. It's just
Mm,
phenomenal. You know, the impact of that, the ripple effect of that, of all this information
mm.
getting out there. And so people are becoming a lot more knowledgeable on a lot of different things. I don't know about so
And a
much
lot
about the street
quicker.
smarts nowadays because so many people are at their computers.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, so now we have social anxiety and things like that. And of course, cyberbullying is a big issue, of course, when so much is online as well. So I think
Mm.
that's really good that you're addressing that. So 8:30 tomorrow it kicks off. You've got your event
Yes.
8:30, and that's Australian Eastern Standard Time. So what specifically is happening tomorrow at 8:30? How are you going to be rolling out this event?
Okay, so majority of it has been pre-recorded because we have quite uh, a lot of international speakers, as in our first panel, which is probably generally we would normally have done a forum, which is generally during the breakfast, and at that forum, there's Q&A with the students and that sort of thing. So this year we, with the help of our beautiful moderator Graziella Thake, we have been able to have some amazing international women on the panel, from a lot of different sports industries, and which, to hear, their ideas of supporting young women, and what they've sort of had to go through to get to where they are, is, yeah, absolutely amazing. And then we also have our local Australian panel, which we have some amazing local speakers, and also the amazing Elizabeth Wells from the Defence Force, and Natasha Price, who's one of our champion sportswomen. So that'll be exciting to listen to them speak as well. And then during that, we've also got our main speakers, Graziella, who was won our CEO award last year, and also was our overall IWD Inspirational Leader Award. She won the Inspirational Leadership Award. So, so how we generally do that is the winners from last year will speak at the next year's event. So, thankfully, Graziella and Julie Marsh from Carers Australia have been my biggest support this year. They have really helped me put this all together in such a short time, which has been absolutely amazing.
Wow, fantastic. They are incredibly inspiring. And I just wish something like this was around, when I was growing up, because it is always so inspiring and there's always a great theme of, seeing what's possible and, having girls realize that, anything is possible, and, to also stand up for themselves and to not tolerate, bullying, not tolerate abuse, and to follow their dreams and goals. I think it's always been, very
Absolutely.
inspiring in that way,
Mm,
and having senior role models who show that by example is really fantastic too, and the great variety of mentors that you have as well. And I've been a mentor in the past, and so many other amazing ladies out there. It's really a wonderful thing that you put together. So I congratulate you on that, Cathy. I congratulate you
thank
on
you.
all the work you put into this. And I know last year was really tough for you as well. It was a lot of work last year, and
Mm,
tech issues can happen and miscommunications can happen and things like that. So I know what goes into events, and you always put on such an extraordinary show. So I'm
Thank
sure
you.
this year will be no different. And then after the live event tomorrow, after the pre-record / live event with the students tomorrow, you're also going to be going out into the schools you mentioned in the next little while as well to present the awards. So how is that going to work for you? When are you going to be starting that?
Okay, so because of exams that are happening at the moment with all this new thing which I need to find out about more, um, the the schools with their curriculum and everything, and their testing and all the new testing that they're doing now, it's sort of making it very difficult for us to sort of organise timely events, and so we really wanted to be able to um, present the girls with their awards at, say, a what do they call it, at an assembly. So the problem there is actually finding a day when they do an assembly, which generally, so they, a lot of the schools want to do it in front of the whole school or that sort of thing. So that's sort of becoming a little bit of a challenge. So, but we're all
Right.
working together to make that happen. So we believe that because it's an online event, it wasn't fair that the girls weren't personally presented with their awards. So we've made it possible that we are going out to the schools. The Optimisation Hub, on behalf of Graziella, will be doing a leadership speech from one of her team as part of their sponsorship. And then we will be presenting each and every student with their awards. And we have quite a lot of prize sponsors that have donated some lovely gifts towards to go into their gift bags. So yeah, so we're so excited about physically being able to present to them live in real life
Yeah.
this year. But we're just not sure when, so we're slowly getting dates and times and everything through from the schools, which is great. So we're really working hard together to make it happen.
That's great. Fantastic. So any media outlets, journalists watching this, then we would love you to actually come along and cover some of those events. I think they'll be really inspiring when those awards are presented at the schools.
Yeah,
Over the
that'd
next
be awesome.
few months. So we'll be letting you know about that. And now on the topic of women's, the International Women's Day this year is the hashtag is Choose to Challenge. Choose to Challenge. So is there a particular theme that you're taking on with this year's event in line with the Choose to Challenge?
Well, I think it is part of Choose to Challenge, as far as our speakers are basically talking about their lives and the challenges they've had to through coping with different events that have happened to them during the process of getting to the positions and things of where they are now. So totally that's part of it, but we've also included the leadership side of it as well. So the UN, it's about leadership this year, so for in IWD. So it's pretty much a combination of quite a lot of things, so Choose to Challenge, leadership, and just some inspirational, well, really tips on a lot of different things that the girls will get so much out of just by listening to these inspirational women that I mean, we're all human, we're all how can I say, this we're all physically built the same, and yet these women are achieving amazing great things. And I think the belief of we want the girls to feel that, that they can do whatever they want to achieve. They just need to step up.
Yeah, I love that. And have you noticed in the last 20 years the changing face of women and their role in society? What have you noticed about women? Do you think they're more outspoken nowadays or more in their power than they were, say, 20 years ago? Have you noticed much of a change in your 20 years with the festival and I guess your time on the planet as well? What are you noticing that is happening for women?
Yeah. Yeah, I think what I've really noticed the most is I've found that women are working together more in business. They're collectively building each other up, and not there's a lot less of a competition, I've found,
Right.
which I think is wonderful, because I don't think women need to feel that they need to compete with anybody, because every individual has their own way, their own flair, their own abilities, and we need to combine all those to create, a collective sort of, in business and in personal lives. Like with our mentoring program, I believe that it doesn't matter whether you have two women from the same industry talking to the girls, because each of those women will have amazing different ideas. Like every person has their own um, awesomeness, I suppose. And every one of them, including yourself, like, one media person to another, each one of you is so different, and everyone can learn from each and every one of you. So I believe that everyone needs to, connect together and help each other, because that's what I believe it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that. I think there has been definitely a lot more collaboration with women I've seen in different women's groups. It's
Mm,
actually quite phenomenal to see how women are supporting each other. And, they say, people on a mission have no competition. And I think a big thing too is that, so many women are, such givers. By nature we are
yeah,
givers, we are nurturers. And I think what I've really noticed is that women are learning more and more to nurture themselves and to love themselves. And the more
yeah.
that they nurture and love themselves, the more they're nurturing and loving others as well.
Mm, mm,
And also I think, being a stand for, not tolerating things like, rape and violence. There's a lot more support nowadays, a lot more support groups than there were, say, 20
yeah,
years ago, 30 years ago, for people who were abused, that were just told to shut up and keep quiet. And, a lot of that kind of thing was dismissed back in the day.
yeah,
And now I think, that is it is not tolerated. Abuse will not be tolerated, whether it's mental, emotional, physical abuse. And of course, we know it happens to guys as well. So I'm talking, for
yeah,
men and women, it can happen both ways. And I think it's important that people show respect, have respect for themselves and respect for others. Be kind to
yeah.
yourself, be kind to others, because hurt people, they say, right? Hurt people, hurt
That's
people.
right.
So if people are hurting,
Mm,
they'll be nasty to others. But the more that you do what you love and that you appreciate who you are as you are, the whole thing around body image too, I think that's changed a lot too. There was a period there where a lot of women were anorexic, trying to, and bulimic, that were trying to sort of, live out this fantasy model kind of look that we saw on magazine covers,
mm,
this skinny model look, which is just not healthy often.
yeah,
So I think a lot of women were sort of starving themselves as well in striving for beauty. And I think, people like Anita Roddick from Body Shop, I think she did a lot to help combat that with the work that she did around, 20 odd years ago, 30 years ago. So I think, there's a lot more awareness now, and a lot more people accepting themselves and accepting others and working together. As you say, that collaboration is really
mm,
fantastic.
yeah. I think people are more confident in actually speaking out about things now than
Yes.
than they were back then too. Mm. So, which
Yes.
is wonderful, So if we can, introduce what we're trying to do, with the youth, at least then, as they get older, they're going to be doing the same, as collectively sharing, not feeling that that threat of competition and all that sort of thing. I mean, I really believe that should be something that we, strive towards, because, as equality is a big word, and it also covers, not necessarily equality as in men and women. It covers a lot of equality in, people say that are a lot more intelligent than another person, but that's inequality by people treating them with, or looking down on those sort of people. And so there's, a lot of these things don't necessarily have to be about a man or a woman or that sort of thing. It covers, people in general.
Yes, human beings. And Denna
Mm.
has a wonderful question for us here. She says,
Oh no.
what would you tell your 16-year-old self? I love that question, Denna. That is a fantastic question. What would you tell your 16-year-old self? So I'll let you go first on that one, Cathy, and then I'll answer that as well. What would you tell your
What would you
16-year-old self?
tell 16-year-old self? So is that as far as like remembering when you were 16?
I think what she's saying is what advice would you give to yourself as a 16-year-old? So what would you tell your 16-year-old self now that you're older and wiser than you were at 16? What would you tell your 16-year-old self that would help her through her life? I think that's what you're saying, Denna.
Okay. Yes. All right. I do have that. Okay. Be kind to yourself, believe in yourself. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't let anyone or listen to anyone that has negative words about you, to you or to anyone else. Be true to yourself, and feel happy with who you are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I would say ditto to all of those. I think that's all fantastic advice. And, if I think of myself as a 16-year-old, I was an angry teenager. I got kicked out of home at 15. I went on a trajectory of drugs and alcohol abuse and really didn't want to be on the planet for a long time there. I had depression. I was angry with the world. I felt helpless and hopeless to make a difference and make a change in the world as a teenager. And,
Yeah.
thank goodness I came through that. And really, if looking back at me as a 16-year-old, I would say you are amazing. You are extraordinary. And you can make a difference, and you can, with every single thing that you do, with everyone that you meet, you can make a difference. In fact, you do make a difference. And to believe in yourself, believe in yourself. You're 1 in a billion just by being born. I would say to my 16-year-old self, I would say, you are 1 in a billion just by being born. You are beautiful, you are intelligent, you are amazing, you are kind. You have the whole world at your feet. You have so much opportunity and so much to explore, and enjoy every single moment. Savor every single moment. That's what I would say to my 16-year-old self. And I would say this too will pass. This depression, this darkness that you feel at times, this too will pass. And as you say too, Cathy, don't listen and don't believe anyone who puts you down, because hurt people hurt people. If I heard that hurt people when I was 16, I would have, I wouldn't have taken things so personally when people were nasty to me, because I was bullied as a kid. I was a first generation Australian with Greek, Turkish, Ukrainian blood. I was bullied, and I never felt I belonged. I never wanted to be here. I never felt I belonged. And, I had my best friends turn against me. I had my boyfriend sleep with my best friend in front of me. So, so some serious trust issues came up for me,
Yeah,
and
I can
so I
imagine.
think it's a really big one to just not take people's anger on board, not take, if people are being nasty, it's saying more about them than it is about you. It's not about you. And I think being an empath, and I'm incredibly empathic. I'm very sensitive, which is why I'm such a big animal lover too. So I really can feel, I sense, the pain that animals go through, and, the beauty of animals. And they say that, people who are harmful to humans are also harmful harmful to animals first, actually, and then they become, harmful to humans. So I think having compassion for yourself, for others, I think these are all really important things to embrace in life in general, because, there are times that life is really tough, right? For women, for men, for human beings, there's things we cannot control, like COVID, for example. We can't control COVID.
Yeah.
We can't control certain, rules of society, etc., unless you're a politician and, you have some pulling power in that way. There's certain things
Yeah,
we
no,
can't
so
control. So
very
it's all
true.
how are you going to be about what's happening around you, right? How are you going to respond to what's happening around you? And, this advice, of course, for everyone who's watching this, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self? Love to hear from you in the chat. What would you say to your 16-year-old self? What great advice would you give them, or to the youth of today, in fact, to the youth of today, to our next generation? What would you say?
Yeah.
Great advice and inspiration would you give them?
And I think
Yeah.
it's really important because I know, like, just from listening to yourself, I was bullied as a child, and I went through, horrible time for 2 whole years, and it was very horrible. And when I went to high school, I decided that I was going to do something about it. So I actually used to help and protect the ones that were bullied in high school. So, I know all about that. But my story is probably more along the lines of being was have been very ill most of my life, and through that, I used to cop a lot of negative through relationships, and that they couldn't handle my illness, or for so many years. And it's sort of quite different to your situation, but there were times when I didn't want to be here, because I thought, just let me die, like, because it was just horrible. And what you go through personally, and my health issues were internal, so on the outside I looked normal like everyone else, and still to this day I still have the same issues. And then over my life, nearly dying 15 times, is sort of, I know why I'm here now.
Wow, your time is
And,
not up.
and this is why I'm here, is to get this all happening, and to make sure that, the girls have a proper mentoring program, so we can, connect them with these amazing women that can inspire them, that can give them courage to step up and to, carry on with being amazing, and don't let anyone, stop you, or put you down, to stop you from achieving whatever you want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the thing to remember too is that a third of people die by the age of 65. And, before you know it, life just goes so quick. I used to think 20 was old, then I thought 30 was old, then I thought 40 was old, and, then I thought 50 was old, and I'm, coming on to 50 now. And, it's
I know, but
like,
it's the new 40s, remember?
yeah, well, they say 70 is the new 40 actually now.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's like life just goes at such a cracking pace. It
It
just goes so
does.
quick, and the older you get, the faster it seems to go. And we think we have forever to do things. We think, oh yeah, we'll do that tomorrow, we'll do that another time, or whatever, right? But before you know it, the years just creep up. I mean, just in the last week, I've lost two friends of mine. Yesterday I was at
I know.
a memorial
Very
of
sorry to hear that too.
Thank you. Well, I was at a memorial yesterday of an 87-year-old man who I considered like my father. He was actually a father of a dear friend of mine, Jeff Diamond, a guy called Tom Harrison. He died at 87. He died peacefully in his sleep. However, he had a lot of ailments, and he had an amazing life, such a joyful man at 87. And then last week I heard that Cliff Simon, who played Lord Baal in Stargate, who we did an Australian tour with, the PR tour of a science fiction book around Australia a few years ago, he just died of a kiteboarding accident at age 58.
Yes.
Doing what he loved, at 58. I didn't think he would die before 65. But the fact is, it can happen to anyone at any time. So even more important to make the most of every single moment,
Every
and to
single
celebrate.
moment.
every single moment, and to celebrate life. And I think it's fantastic what you're doing with the festival, with the Youth Leadership Awards and the mentoring that you do, because it really is inspiring people to appreciate life and recognizing their achievements and recognizing where they're at. I think that's so important, because not enough people lift other people nowadays, often enough.
No.
There's still a lot of people sort of putting people down because they're hurting. So the more we can elevate ourselves and elevate those around us, the better that all of society will be, because of the ripple effect of that on families and on people around them. Abdul
Absolutely.
says you are really media queen. Thank you, Abdul. That's very nice of you. And Gopal says life is very fragile. Too many deaths of dear ones. Yeah, and the older you get, yes, Gopal, you realise the older you get, the more you
I
see people
know.
dying, and even more important to make the most of life.
Exactly.
Now, you said you almost died 15 times, Cathy.
Yeah, I have Crohn's disease. And it's been a horrible journey. I've been ill, well, I was ill, I should say, from a small baby. And I missed out on playing sport and that as a kid, and I played my first sport in my 40s. So
Wow.
there's a lot of things that I wasn't able to do, and surgeries. I've had over 15 surgeries, and I'm still at high risk and that sort of thing, but I know that I'm still here for a reason, and that reason has been made made clear to me now, that making sure that I complete and do all my thoughts of what I wanted to create, that it's still a few things to go, but it's getting there. But I've passed my 9 lives, so I'm here for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And
no,
for those,
seriously.
yeah, I mean, your time is definitely not up, right? But for those who don't know about Crohn's disease, can you explain a little bit about what that's like and what are some of the side effects of that?
Oh, it's a autoimmune disease. So we basically are given drugs to make us not have an immune system. So which means, during your life, and that you are very susceptible to infection, to diseases. And through COVID, I pretty much had to go underground to sort of protect myself in that regard. But it's what it does is it attacks your organs, and I've lost pretty much every organ you can lose without having to go on dialysis machines. And it's debilitating. Like, it affects all your muscles, all your joints. It eats into your intestines. So I've got the least lot you can have as a to live now. So I can't have any more operations. But at the moment I'm doing really well. I'm in complete remission, thanks to a beautiful savior of a natural product that I take from America. And I'm doing fine.
Amazing, extraordinary, Cathy. And you look like you're fine on the outside. Doesn't look like any health
I
issues, as
know.
you say. So
I'm
that's
one of the
looking,
lucky ones. Yeah.
yeah, amazing. Wow, I feel for you. You're so resilient, Cathy. Amazing. And you've just put all this together, everything. Last year you had the 25th anniversary of International
I
Women's Day
know.
Festival. That is extraordinary. 25 years. So this is now 26 years, first time online with this. So this is kind of like a hybrid event, I guess. You're doing the online, and then you're going to be presenting physical uh,
Yeah.
physical awards as well. So
Yeah, so it's very
that's
exciting to be able to meet all the girls, and just be there in front of their others and the other students, that seeing them being recognized. I think that's extra special, because normally at the breakfast, the schools can only really provide for a limited amount of students to be able to attend. So it just makes it a little bit more special this year, so which is
yes.
wonderful.
Yes, that's true. There's always pros and cons in every scenario, isn't there?
There
So
certainly is.
I think that's a great way forward. Now, for tomorrow's event, is there any way that if people want to come and have a look at tomorrow's event, can they get tickets or anything for tomorrow, or is it a closed event?
It's really we were going to look at providing access and that sort of thing as a paid access. It just worked out a little bit difficult uh, for the the guys that are putting it together. It runs at a certain time, finishes at a certain time. But what we will be doing is the event will be made available to to anyone after the event at a small fee, especially the students that have been nominated. We're offering their parents to be able to purchase the event, and it's a wonderful award for them to be recognized by their schools, outside school. And in the past, we've had some amazing girls that have gone on to international universities, and they have actually said that our award was actually acknowledged by some international universities, which we were very, very proud and humble about, hearing that. And so it's something that I believe is very special, I think, because uh, the girls, it shows the girls that they are appreciated, that and we're recognizing and honoring them this year. So,
Mm.
and encouraging them to continue to do amazing things.
Wonderful, wonderful. And of course, if people want to support your efforts in future, you have a Facebook page. Where is the best way
Yes.
for them to connect with you if they want to be involved in future?
Yes, either a message on Facebook, or we have our email, which is just info at connectingwomeninternational, all lowercase.com. And we're looking for some wonderful mentors to be part of our mentoring program this year, which we'll be having 4 public workshops for women and youth, and we'll also be doing 4 private workshops for the youth leaders that have been awarded this year, and including last year, as the girls missed out because of COVID. So and we're slowly growing our industries with it, with the women that can, support our girls with ideas and, career information and just, experiences. And to me, that's the most important thing, for the young girls to be able to get access to these women about, their experiences of, you know, of how they got to where they are, and the difficulties they face. So then these young girls can, when they do go out into the big world of work and business and university and all those different areas, that they'll have some tools to help them with fighting anxiety, and to help with their depression, if as it's quite well quite big in a lot of the schools. We've had past students not be able to attend interviews or that sort of thing, and which horrified me. I didn't realize that it was that bad. So, we really want to help our youth, because, they are our future leaders. And, women that have made wonderful choices, and managed to become amazing women and leaders, that we need your help to help these young students get there themselves.
Absolutely. So anyone who's interested in that can put an expression of interest forward and
Yeah,
contact
and then we can
contact you.
send the information.
Okay, fantastic. Awesome. Now, Gopal is very impressed with you. He says, Cathy seems to be a great survivor of our times.
Oh,
Absolutely, Gopal.
thank
She
you.
is definitely a great survivor of our times and very inspiring lady here on the Gold Coast, particularly impacting ladies from Northern New South Wales up to Brisbane with these youth awards and all around the world with the work that you do, Cathy. Just extraordinary. Congratulations. I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic event tomorrow. And these awards rolling out over the next month or so as well in the schools. So I'm sure they can't wait to have that happen, and lots of great photo and media opportunities coming up
Yes.
for that.
Just one thing I did forget to say, we are
Sure.
introducing an ambassador award. So what we're thinking is that we collectively, with a few of the youth, we get together and sit down and go through, subjects that the girls want to hear about. Girls, different industries that, they'd love to have women to be able to talk to, and just subjects for, the workshops and all that sort of thing, and ideas on what else can we do to help, what else can we do to support them. So that's what we're starting this year. We haven't at this stage been able to go through all the entries, as there is 150 of them.
Wow.
So, and to pick one well, it's not a matter of picking an amazing girl. It will be continued, and we will be asking other students to be part of the ambassador program as well. But for now, it will be just one girl who will be announced hopefully next week, and we will be announcing that on our International Women's Day Facebook page, and we'll be announcing that and awarding her ambassador award at her school presentation. So that's
Wow.
something to look forward to. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. I can't wait to see who that's going to be this year. So stay tuned. International Women's Day Festival Facebook page, or the 25th International Women's Day Festival page. What's the exact title of your Facebook page now?
It's just gone back to the International Women's Day Festival.
Okay. International Women's Day Festival. Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's
excellent,
the same
Cathy.
page.
Same page, yeah, brilliant. And moving forward, then, have you got ideas for maybe what next year might hold, or the future plans for the International Women's Day Festival after this?
Yes, well, it's already booked, which I'm so happy to say.
Wow, amazing! That's very organised, Cathy. That's very
Yes.
impressive.
So it's booked for the 10th of March in 2022, and it will be a live breakfast at the event centre at the Aquas Park.
Ah, very good. Excellent. Event Centre, Aquas Park. Oh, that'll be fantastic. Okay, 10th of March, 2022. So date for your diary, all our International Women's Day Festival lovers on the Gold Coast and surrounds. Make that date time for your diary. They're always amazing events, and keep tabs on the Facebook page and your website as well, Cathy.
It's at the moment it's under maintenance. So we're praying that it will be up and running in the next few days, but at the moment I'm not holding my breath.
Okay, got it. So in the meantime, connect on Facebook, and you'll find Cathy on there.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can also reach out to Cathy, send her a PM, or message the page, and you'll find Cathy there. Well done, Cathy. Absolutely brilliant what you're doing. Congratulations to all the award recipients for this year, and thank you to all of the amazing mentors coming on board and that have come on board and supported this phenomenal event. It really is a great team effort, and it's extraordinary what you do, Cathy. I think you're so inspiring with what you do, and year after year you keep showing up and putting so much work and so much heart and soul into this, and I just really congratulate you for that. It's amazing what you do. Here Gopal says her spirit is infectious. Thank you. My
Oh,
pleasure. Gopal says spirit is infectious. That's lovely, Gopal. Thank you for that. And you do have a beautiful infectious spirit, and really
and
such a
thank you,
privilege.
Aldrin, for the
My
wonderful interview as well, and your support over the years, and over the last 2 years since the organization has changed into, since I've been looking after the event. So thank you so much for your support over this time. You've been amazing.
My pleasure. My pleasure. It's always great working with you, Cathy, and sharing a champagne as well. We'll have to do that in another time, not
I think
tomorrow.
I'll need one soon.
Time for a drink soon.
I shouldn't say that.
Over 18s only.
Yes. Oh dear.
And any final words, Cathy, before we wrap up? Any words of wisdom you'd like to leave people with?
Oh, I've gone blank, honestly. I'm half brain dead today. Just trying to finalize everything. No, look, you know, I think, women and youth, keep shining. Keep shining.
Yeah.
Keep believing in yourself. You can do anything. I did. I never thought I would be here speaking with Aldwyn today, but here I am. So keep being amazing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cathy. That's beautiful words of wisdom there to leave our viewers with. And if you're watching this right now, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've learned something today, and love to hear from you. What words of wisdom can you leave for our future generation, or what would you say? What advice would you give to your 16-year-old self moving forward? Let's all share the love. If you like what you've seen, make sure you subscribe to Media Queen TV on YouTube. Share the love. Just press share and share some inspiration. It takes 2 seconds, and you can lift the energy of someone around you who may be feeling a bit down today just by sharing some inspiration. So I really encourage you to do that today watching this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cathy, for the great work you do. Here's to an awesome 2021 International Women's Day Festival. We've got, of course, the event tomorrow, which is happening from 8:30 a.m, partly pre-recorded and partly live, with schools from northern New South Wales right up to Brisbane, the Youth Leadership Awards ceremony, and the mentoring forum and presentations happening over the next coming months. And the ambassador announced next week. So keep tabs on Facebook, the International Women's Day Festival, and stay connected, and reach out if you would like to be a mentor as well. Reach out to Cathy as well. Thank you so much, Cathy. Thank you for watching, and have a beautiful day or night wherever you are. And shine bright and light up all those around you, as I say. And as Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Thank you, Cathy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.